kinda young to be king. The white Pokemon's the mascot of black, and the black Pokemon's white's mascot. I bet many people got the wrong legendary because of that. Pressing A from the title makes a legendary's cry cut off the music. It's especially noticeable with Reshiram. This isn't Donkey Kong Jr. on the Intellivision. The DS has multiple sound channels. What's their excuse? Especially in a game this epic. There's no option to date Professor Juniper. Animated Pokemon sprites are welcome in my book. Making Pokemon battle strengthens your bonds. Great friendship advice. Game Freak gave Bianca such a nice body for someone her age. I understand battling indoors messes up rooms, but how are there tracks on the walls? It's Tepig Spider Pig. You said we shouldn't battle inside, then do it yourself. I know you're being careful, but do it outside. Also, me versus Bianca, me versus Sharon. Where's Bianca versus Sharon? Why are you apologizing? You are much more careful than me and Bianca. Overprotective father and disappointed father cliche. Discount Goldenrod theme. Why couldn't this be Route 301 instead of just going back to 1? What's the point of Patrat, other than being Univa's starting normal type rodent? Lilliput's on the same route, has the same typing and catch rate, better stats, is much cuter, evolves faster, and evolves twice instead of once, so Patrat shouldn't be here. It's not even a good HM slave. I'm glad you catch your first Pokemon earlier than in previous generations. I don't see the Pokemon Center behind you. Juniper doesn't care about how many Pokemon you catch. Ghetsis is my second favorite Pokemon villain and was my favorite until another one topped him 5.5 years later. Wow, we're removing several sins this early. More proof how awesome these games are. They decided to escort Ghetsis in a way that makes him look like some butts made out of humans. This feminine looking Purloin is male half the time, and its sprite makes it look cuter than it actually is. Another praise for this game, its awesome sound effects when selecting moves, and how fast they are. These 2-inch cliffs are still unclimbable. Get used to Sun Rival battles. I've praised this game's mechanics, but now I'm dissing one. When you beat a Pokemon weaker than you, you get less experience from facing future trainers until you fight another Pokemon at a higher level. Our 5th, 6th, and 7th monkey Pokemon. Game Freak must have an unhealthy obsession with monkeys. When I think Dreamyard, I think ruined factories. Maxwell serves Pokeballs on his tray? That's terrible. What restaurant makes people need to beat trainers and solve a puzzle to get to it? Here's some wasted potential. These guys are triplets, and this game introduced triple battles, yet there's no option for a triple battle with them. This Fire, Grass, and Water Gym only has one Pokemon of either of those types. Now TMs can be used infinitely, so you can't waste them. I know I'm not the first to say this, but these Team Plasma Grunts are hypocrites. They say they fight to free Pokemon, yet they're abusing this Muna. Why didn't this awesome battle theme get into Smash 4 or Ultimate? Team Plasma is as obsessed with saying their own name as Count Black. These grunts run away from Ghetsis to apologize to him. Hooray! We get Sea-Gear, which I never used! I know these two are little kids, but not knowing what 1 plus 1 equals? Aren't preschoolers too young to be trainers? I mean, I prefer that over them teaching kids that they can't play a Pokemon game until they're 10 like the anime does, but I'm sitting it either way. Incinerate sounds like a devastating move, but for some reason, it's almost useless. You can climb up the slide effortlessly and not get yelled at. Really, Sharon? Asking Bianca why she was running after she just said why? And now we found what Rouge Sabat would look like if she were de-anthropomorphized. Not only do these idiots return the Pokemon they stole just because they lost, they didn't even release that girl's Pokemon like they wanted to, even though they had it at the moment. You can still only catch wild double battle Pokemon if one of them is knocked out. It's been a while since I did this, but I'm adding 5 cents for those annoying double team and sand attack moves. These people should know better than to just stand on train tracks like this. And now there's a fence blocking these train tracks. No wonder we never see any trains coming this way. I still can't stand how they make the opponents have a better chance of inflicting status condition than you have of inflicting it on them, so I once again have to give 5 cents. Another improvement over this game's predecessors, there are now nurses you can fight that will heal your Pokemon after you beat them. Our 3rd firefighting starter in a row. Venipede is cool, yet it's another bug poison type. I've always found it kinda odd that Double Slap can hit more than twice. I guess it would be a waste of programming if you were to call it Triple Slap, Quadruple Slap, and Quintuple Slap, but call it something like Multi-Slap. This museum charges nothing to get in. That's bad for business. Hawes ignores this Armado when giving a tour of this museum. What bones are these? This gym is like a library, but with the battles going on, aren't you supposed to be quiet in the library? The people wanting peace in the museum would also be annoyed with the battle noises here. Lenora being a black woman wearing an apron caused unneeded controversy. Why does Watchog's tail look like it's been zapped by lightning? Even though Watchog's Pokédex entry says it can spit seeds, it couldn't learn Bullet Seed until 5 years later, and even then, only as an egg move. In less than a second, we can see a shot of the head already gone. You're mad because you're jealous, cliché. This grunt thinks he can hold us in place with 1 Patrat. 7 stages are bad guys? What do these developers have against the Zelda series? No, seriously. How could cornering them possibly make things worse? This stupid man suffers from Gen 1 and 2 NPC syndrome by not letting us pass for literally no reason. Seriously, Gen 1ers. You can call Red, Blue, and Yellow the superior games all you want, but you can't deny that your precious Generation 1 would never be able to pull off amazing camera angles like this. That being said, it goes on for a little longer than it needs to be, which is annoying if you want to revive fossils. This is the most awesome city in the history of Pokemon. This man says he gives you items depending on how many trades you've made, but doesn't tell us that it only counts for how many people you've traded with. Basculin is ugly and useless, not to mention constantly annoys you everywhere whenever you use Surf. This place has 22 floors, but only 2 of them exist. Something that the people who played Pokemon Legends Arceus need to understand next time they spoil the true villain of the game like so many other brainless morons have already done. This man frisks you to see if you're a boy, but doesn't if you're a girl. That's sexist. And kinda creepy. This grown man asks a child where they live. The Name Reader's house is much harder to find than normal since this city is huge. Sure is convenient that the grunts who stole Moona haven't left town, otherwise we wouldn't be able to get it back. This grunt actually thinks we'll believe him. That was a terrible pun! The extra Seaver doesn't show maps of the city. I don't know what Iris is talking about. Really, game? Well, you could have done something to stop them, couldn't you? Liberty Pass allows you to get Victini, but it was only a temporary gift, and some people didn't even have this game back when the event ended. Finally! A villainous team member who is actually smart and doesn't move aside even after you beat him. Only took 15 years. This grunt believes he needs to liberate Victini from this easily escapable basement. What's your point? Doesn't that make the fact you lost even worse? What terrible man would lock Victini in a basement for 200 years? Maybe Team Plasma's right for once. It's said that Victini will always win, yet it doesn't always win. Curse you, Pokédex, for lying to me! Again! As awesome as this boss theme is, I think it's weird how it keeps speeding up and slowing down. You come out of these honey walls completely clean. Global isn't as good defensively as it's supposed to be since it only has 2 resistances. Darumaka poop keeps people warm. Thanks for giving me that image. How does this guy live like this in the house in the middle of a sandstorm? He's going to have to always prepare himself to walk outside and constantly get all the sand out of his house. Sharon inherited Silver's weird ability to just sense us behind him, and through a huge sandstorm. Lightbird looks like a de-anthropomorphized crystal from Starfox. Does Professor Juniper greet everyone with that nice pose? Sandile can't learn Bite if you catch it any higher than level 15. I'm sure that this sandstorm would cover this highway in sand. How does beating you make us the strongest trainer in the world? What's the point of Maractus? Oh, it's supposed to be some music-loving cactus, but its only music-based move by level up is Pedal Dance. Also, despite being a cactus, sandstorms hurt it. Yanask were once human, which means their trainers are basically using other humans in battle. Sigilyph is awfully cheap for this point. Why is Archon in the Water 3 group? If these grunts want Pokemon from the daycare, why are they with the daycare men all the way out here? Why not just rob the daycare itself? They give no indication that you need to speak to this guy for the strength HM, which is required to beat the game. Oh no. This extremely stupid and contextless meme existed even in 2011? This gentleman likes seeing people violently crash into each other. Some gentlemen you are. This stupid old brat won't let you leave the Pokemon musical until you do one. I hope this stupid old man loses his job for basically kidnapping us. As much as I love this song, this was what many people felt the need to overuse in countdowns when they end their videos with emotional speeches, which really don't work, even with the song. This scene inspired one of the most wasted Unova episodes by making Ash an uncaring brat. Don't apologize. Bianca's dad was being an overprotective jerk. I like the idea of a roller coaster style gym, but Elisa is a jerk to people who suffer from motion sickness. What happens to them? Are they always one badge short to enter the Pokemon League? Do they have to wait for the Aspersha, Verbank, and Humalao gyms before they can get an 8th badge? Also, it closes in the way that would cut off your head. I kinda like Emolga because it's really cute, but sometimes it's annoying to fight because of its static and spamming double team. This gym has very little variety. It only uses Blitzel, Zebstrika, and Emolga. What about Tynamo or Joltik? How can you have an electric type leader if only one of our Pokemon is weak to ground? I know I just complained that they didn't have Joltik or Tynamo, which aren't weak to ground, but I'd prefer if she had Blitzel, Tympole, Emolga, and Zebstrika. I guess having 2 people makes sense in the Ferris wheel, but I'm pretty sure it would still work with only one. I guess tennis can be exciting, but is Pokemon tennis any different than regular tennis? We've already seen the stupid Pokemon Ping Pong episode in the anime, which was literally just ping pong and not really anything else. So if that's the case here too, I think that Pokemon just loves to stick the word Pokemon in front of sports and hope we see it as original. This digital net or whatever looks cool, but also looks kinda dangerous. Another rival ambush. Spirit Tracks music? Otto's my least favorite champion. Say what you want about the one in Scarlet and Violet, at least she actually earned her title by fighting through the Elite Four instead of just being chosen for it. Not to mention, Otto's a pedophile towards Cynthia and Jenny in the anime. Again, Otto's my least favorite champion, but he can be here if he wants. People have lives, you know. Otto throws these two kids into battle. Was cute? Are you implying we killed your Pokemon? They're not dead. They just need to be taken to a Pokemon Center. What do you think this is, a Nuzlocke? How do you taste a battle? I don't know what's inside this bag. Maybe a weird puff of gas named Nebby. If lowering the drawbridge helped Team Plasma escape, why didn't you wait longer before letting us cross? And why didn't we pass them on the way across? This church-like building does not look like a church on the inside. The pledge moves aren't bad, but they're useless in single battles. Charles is a jerk to customers and this woman. Charles constantly saying this gets annoying. I'll dock him for introducing the awesome triple and rotation battles, but then I'm giving it back because there aren't nearly enough in the whole game. Stealing a big pearl from this lady. Look, Charles' motorcycle can't even keep up with us when we're walking. What kind of name is Girder? It's literally just Girder except misspelled. I thought they stopped using those uncreative names after Generation 1. Patton being the best ice type here in Cold Storage doesn't mean much when only 2 trainers in here use any ice types. Vanillite has one of the laziest designs ever. An ice cream Pokemon. This box could easily fall on someone walking out. Separating people from Pokemon is the same as Pokemon not existing? Do you realize how terrible that is? You're coming off like you're implying that they should only exist for our own benefits. You free Pokemon from everyone, so what's your point? Stupid move, Clay. Yes, there are more, but that doesn't mean you should free the ones you've already captured. A Pokemon that can use its long, sticky tongue to capture prey can't learn Lick. It's weird that Clay usually stunts out his extra drill before sending out his Palpitone. Why would they ever design Musharna like an unborn baby? I'm so mad that they forced Bianca to keep going in the wrong direction after you battle her while they keep making Sharon go in the right direction. And I'll get more into my problem with how Sharon and Bianca are handled soon enough. Finally! A game where the lucky egg is easy to find! A gear Pokemon. Yep, they're running out of ideas. Still a cool Pokemon though. Character gets a light bulb when they have an idea cliche. Chargestone Cave can take hours to finish exploring. In this view, you can see that no one's on the lower floor, but then there are people on it when you get down to the floor. Whimsicatt's cute, but I really don't like how it breaks into people's homes and ruins everything. Sorry, Ann, but I won't let that roll credits instance slip past me. I'm getting bad memories of how annoying Cedric Juniper was in the show. It's just so insulting that one of the best professor waifus, next to Sonia and Professor Sada, is related to the most annoying professor ever. Well, look at it this way. It wouldn't be as bad as when SpongeBob and Patrick got the face freeze. Does Skyla have Hawkeyes? She saw a sick Pokemon on top of a tower from inside a plane. What, did being a flying type gym leader actually give you Hawkeyes? What else are you gonna tell me? That Misty can breathe underwater? Also a sick Pokemon at the top of a tower. Where have I heard that before? And while we're talking about Skyla, just how much of a waifu she is makes it even more upsetting that they did this character dirty in the anime. In white, there is soil where plants are planted at the end of the tarmac, where in black, there are greenhouses. So either the soil will be messed up or the greenhouses will be shattered. That's bad planning. Shelmet hides in its shell to defend itself, but can't learn withdraw? Litwick absorbs people's life energy. Gets the line, there's no such thing as a bad Pokemon, means nothing anymore. Alamomola is one of my most hated Pokemon of all time. This deceiving appearance marks as false advertising for an evolution of Love Disc that never happened. False advertising is one of the worst things you can ever do when making a form of media, so I'm giving 5 cents at once. Did the Pokédex writer even make sure Gothorita could use hypnosis? Last I checked, Electric only has one weakness. These small strips that look like they should be walked on have the same properties as the walls in Super Mario Kart. It does not look like you can turn these cannons directions, even though you can. Thanks for making us feel like idiots. Well, now Skylar's gym broke our face. Aw, the cute girl thinks I'm fabulous. What? I said nothing. You say you want to change the world without using force, yet you make your Pokemon battle. Wouldn't that technically count as force? I understand you believe things must be done to put an end to them, but it still doesn't sound like without force. The treasure that you hid for us wasn't exactly well hidden. What the heck even was that line? Well, there goes some broken legs. Sharon uncharacteristically whines about losing. How can you fish from there but I can't? A broken bulletin board is refreshing? Yeah, let's go with that. Veterans look too much like Nolan from Pokemon Emerald. Well, now we've got some more Rule 34 material here. Larvesta, despite being found at the bases of volcanoes, hasn't been spotted near one until 6 years later in lush jungle. Even worse, it's stuck in the state for 58 levels until it finally reaches its evolution, which by then you'll probably have already beaten the in-game final boss. Also, if your party's full, you have to go all the way back to the PC and then back there to make room for it. I like Virizion, but do they really have to resort to naming a Pokemon after a Wi-Fi company? Next thing they'll be having a Pokemon's Korean name be named after a restaurant. Oh wait. Took long enough for them to finally give the final evolution stars the same base stat total. Because you lost a Pokemon battle, you have to start all over again? Unless Jordan is playing a Nuzlocke, that makes no sense. These guys aren't doing a good job at dancing to this really weird song as you'd assume, since they're kinda out of sync. And do they just do this all day? And I thought I had no life. I like Stunfisk, but it could have been better. Its cry sounds like a fart, and despite living in both water and mud, it's weak against its own habitat. If you grow a Pokemon from level 1 all the way to level 100, your amazing prize is a King's Rock. How can you store TMs in your Parasol when using it? Won't they fall out? Grant brings up a good point. How is no one getting dizzy from this puzzle? I'd imagine the mechanics that spin you would make everyone keep throwing up and it would be hard to get off the ice. This Karate King uses an ice cream and a sneezing bear. Of course you always lose. Use the same Pokemon as the other trainers that we had to beat in order to reach you. Though to be fair, this game only has 3 ice type lines before you beat the Elite Four, all being pure ice. How does Bryson expect people to get down this icy slide with no guardrails? I bet that Bryson must have killed off several trainers with this gym alone. He's even more of a criminal than his character Bryson met in the Pokestar Studios. I might understand why they're making Bianca a complete wimp. I might have heard that Sharon represents ideals while Bianca represents truth and how not everyone can become talented. But not everything has to tie into this game's theme. Making the boy a good trainer while the girl can't? Don't you dare call me a feminist for this, but that honestly sounds like a sexist stereotype. And that really makes me mad. Also, the not everyone can become talented thing doesn't work when this is an RPG where everyone can raise their Pokemon to a high level. Just keep fighting Pokemon your level. It'll take a while, but you'll get there. Well, that's just needlessly dark. Why can't Golett have the Klutz ability as an option? Druddigon's wings absorb sunlight, but it can learn Solar Beam. Look, it's a bell tower puzzle. Here's something I don't like. Reshiram's a true hero while Zekrum's just an ideal hero. They also made Zekrom look like an evil beast while Reshiram looks like a nice monster. They're practically saying white players have the wrong version. That's just terrible. You're actually stupid enough to think that telling us to lose will make us lose. Because of overprotective people, you can't change Cofagrigus to its original name if you rename it. We came down here for nothing? Oh, but we get the stone 5 minutes later anyway. Then what was the point of that? If it's hard to breathe in here, how are we alive? Considering how mean these bikers are, I'm surprised they're actually trying not to hit you. Jeremy, Wax Tough, has no fully evolved Pokemon. Even his underling Morgan was scarier. Heck, even Bianca was a bigger challenge. These trains are quiet. This Beto girl thought she could outrun fast-moving trains. Why are you telling us your secret? That silly phrase would never help anyone remember it. Well, it looks like different versions determining whether something is past-based or futuristic was done even before Scarlet and Violet. We never find out if these guys release their Pokemon or not after Getsus convinces them to. That's right, Alder's indeed the strongest trainer, which is why the Pokemon League had to choose him instead of having him make his way to the top the right way. The doors in the black version are awesome, but they look like they could slice people if they don't get through. You know what would be awesome? If we actually saw what those two looked like when they were the same Pokemon. The closest we get to that is Kyurem's new forms in the sequel. Useful? What the heck do you mean useful? The ring target is one of the worst items ever. It's even worse than the Iron Ball. At least that was a good fling item. They lie that you can go to both versions of Opelousas City in the same game. The last gym leader has only 3 Pokemon. Just great. Looks like someone at Game Freak's been watching Dragon Tales. Instead of calling us, Juniper walked all this way just to tell us she doesn't know the answer. The roaming legendaries are much more bearable to track down this time. Discount Zeus. The Bolt Strike Pokemon can use Bolt Strike. In terms of typing, Thundurus is everything better since the only thing Tornadus would be weaker against is ground, which doesn't matter since it's a flying type. Out of all the times to realize this, it had to be when I finally got my wish of a pure flying type. Escavalier flies around at high speed. Wait, it has 20 speed. Why do we need a diapered Pokemon? Awesome way to build up suspense, as more parts of the song are added until it finally builds up to this awesome theme. Ironic that Duran's cooler than his predator. Beheeyem's cry is ear bleeding, and it looks more steel than psychic. They make us sit through this shot every time we come in from Victory Road. Instead of types Elite Four members haven't used yet, like Electric, they use types which were already used by Elite Four members twice. Heck, it took until Generation 7 for one to use any Electric types. I love these animations. This Elite Four only has 4 Pokemon. That's pathetic. Discount Shadow Queen. Chandelure consumes people in his flame and wipes them from existence. I refuse to believe there's no evil Pokemon. Speaking of which, Dark types. It defeats the point of the there's no evil Pokemon thing when this type's literally called the evil type in Japan. Conkeldurr isn't having a bad fur day. Gothitell's cry sounds like a horror movie. This is awesome. Team Plasma actually took over the Pokemon League. Take that, Team Rocket! Yeah, separating people and Pokemon is wrong, but saying that nothing good will come of it? What about the Pokemon that are being abused? I don't know what it is about this room's atmosphere, but I must remove sins. And couldn't play basketball right. Again, being champion doesn't make him the world's strongest trainer. Game doesn't explain why your legendary doesn't respond yet. 4 sins are for this epic clash. But wouldn't it be more of a battle of equals if his dragon wasn't 2 levels higher? Vanillix feels out of place in this epic battle. I wish Zoro could impersonate any of his Pokemon instead of just Clink Clank. I'd instantly call Archeops one of my favorite Unova Pokemon if its ability didn't hinder it. This is one of the best boss themes ever. Great time to remove sins for the soundtrack. But if you lose, Ed must relearn his lesson. I hate the low HP theme. It interrupts awesome battle themes, which is especially annoying here, and it loops every 10 seconds. I'm glad it's Gen 5 exclusive because it's worse than the low HP beeping. Hey, Dragon must have trouble standing on its sentient arms. Fine, I'll say it. Guess this is how Dragon evolved too early. Okay, I said it, are you happy? This seems very heartwarming. And Getsus escapes. I'd give 10 cents if he didn't get his comeuppance in the sequel, but back in 2011, everyone thought we'd get Pokemon Gray instead of sequels. And what would they do about Getsus if they decided to cancel said sequels? Didn't think of that, did you? Get away from me, you creepy old pedophile! These stupid dunces waste your time with their stupid stories. Would it kill them to ask if we're interested? Volcarona's fire is as good as the sun, yet everyone's still alive. Zinzolin decided to hide in the place he complained about a few weeks ago. This sage is named Bronius, warning us of the annoying Brony age that would come soon after this game. I feel like it's kind of the point, but Keldeo doesn't look nearly as awesome as the other 3. The only reason I even like him is because of his movie. Terry explores caves in the east, yet he's in the cave in the west. Is he reading Patrick's compass? Liar! This cave has no legendary. For some reason, I don't like Kyurem as much as I should. Probably because his back sprite looks like it has to take a diarrhea. Synchronoise is terrible. It only hits Pokemon that's the same type as you. You're giving us these plays because you don't know what they do. Makes sense, but I've sold some items in Pokemon games before knowing what they do, and I regretted it hard. What were they thinking making this stupid old pedophile lusting after young girls in bikinis? I love how much money you get from selling these treasures, but this ungrateful jerk gets mad at you for not being able to give him more treasures even after you've brought him each one. White players can catch more Pokemon than black players, since White Forest has encounters, unlike Black City. Why do we need to lose 5 points every day in Black City? Other than to make me feel better about choosing White version. Why are they selling something that's only purpose is to sell to only get a fraction of your money back? We can't get the Gracidea flower unless we got Shaman for free. Genesect's nowhere near the strongest Pokemon. Grimsley's Scrafty changed gender. After the epic climax in Plasma Castle, the new Final Bosses team has the weakest fully evolved Dragon, Ice Cream, and I guess the others are pretty fitting. But overall, even the champion in the sequel feels more inspiring. This Hall of Fame isn't very exciting, especially since there's no music. Most Pokemon credits have interesting visuals. These don't. For the talentless wimp, Bianca's Pokemon are high level. Maybe she's not weak. Her idiot father's talk undermine her confidence. White players can't see Mandibuzz without trading, while black players can see Braviary by facing Cynthia. I bet Cynthia's team could destroy Alder and become champion again. It'd be a different region, but still champion. Her Garchomp could beat Alder's Volcarona with a Stone Edge or 2.